Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video in the Kotlin series. In this video, I'll be teaching you about comparison operators. So in the last episode, we learned about the Boolean logical operators, which are 4 different operations you can do with Boolean values to produce a Boolean value. And those are going to be useful for creating conditions for your if statements and other control flow statements that we have in Kotlin. But also important is comparison operators. So we can use those along with our Boolean logical operators to produce complex conditions, okay? So the comparison operators are a way of comparing values to give you a Boolean value. So what are the different comparison operators that I'm talking about? So the different ones that we have is going to be greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal to. So these are something that you probably used in math before. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you've probably learned about this in your classes, right? So you've probably seen all these before, but now I'm going to show you guys how to use them actually in your computer programs because it's very important to know how to use these. So yeah, we're going to see how to do comparison, okay? So anyway, how do we use greater than? It's actually pretty simple, of course. So we do print line, and we could say 5 is greater than 3. So this can never be anything other than true or false. So this is going to produce something, a Boolean value that is true or false. So that should print out true, hopefully, unless the world is ending. So if we go ahead and run this program here, we should get true in the console. There we go, we get true. And if we go ahead and, of course, change this to 3 and 8, this should no longer be true, so we should get false. There we go, we get false. So it makes sense, pretty self-explanatory. Now it doesn't have to be limited to whole numbers or ints for that matter. It can be pretty much any primitive data type that we have. So print line, we could say 5.0 or 5.3 is greater than 678. We're just comparing these two numbers to see which one's bigger, and we know that this is going to be false, right? But if we make this something much larger, this should now be true. All right, there we go, that's true. And we also have less than, so less than is going to be the opposite sign, so facing the other way. So we could do 5 is less than 10, that's going to be true. And then we could do 0.3 is less than 0.299, that's going to be false, all right? Now we also have greater than equal to, so greater than or equal to, which is going to be this sign here. So you're going to put the same greater than symbol and then have a equal sign on the end. So if we do something like 5 is greater than or equal to 5, that's of course going to be true. If we do 6 is greater than or equal to 5, that's also going to be true. I know these are pretty simple, but I just want to go through each of them just so that you know it's possible. So we get true. Of course, that's true. So here's some other examples that I've copied. You can do other data types. I'm just showing numbers because those are probably just the most simple to understand. But like I told you last episode, remember, true behind the scenes is going to be 1 and false is going to be 0. So if we did something like true is greater than false, this is going to be true because 1 is greater than 0. And that's going to be true, perfect. And then if we do the opposite, that should be false. And boom, we get false, okay? And then here's some examples for less than or equal to, just so you have those as well. So the next one that we have is testing for equality to see if two values are equal or not. And so this is going to be done with the double equal sign. And you have to make sure that when you're testing for equality and not assignment, use the double equal sign. So what do I mean by that? So assignment is going to be just a single equal sign. So this is going to be useful for whenever you assign, variables, right? So if we have a variable like Bob is equal to 2, that's assignment. So we're assigning the variable of Bob the value of 2. But for equality, you're testing for equality, okay? So if we did something like if Bob is equal to 2, print line potato, this is invalid because we're trying to assign Bob a new value of 2 within a condition here. That doesn't really make any sense. So we want to change this to double equals. We're saying is Bob equal to 2? So just always remember that. Use one equal sign for assignment when you're assigning variables, and use two equal signs for equality when you're testing to see if something is equal to something else. So here's some examples for that. Okay, 5 is equal to 5, 0.3 is equal to 0.3, 0.3 is equal to 0.299, that's definitely a false, but close. And then 0.3 is equal to 0.301, that's false, all right? Now the next one that we have is inequality. So this is going to be with the not equals symbol. So you're going to have an exclamation point and then an equal symbol. Just combine those together and that's how you do inequality. So you're saying, is 5 not equal to 5? Well, 5 is equal to 5, so this is going to be false. Is 0.3 not equal to 0.3? That's false because they are equal. And then finally, is 0.3 not equal to 0.299? That's true because they are definitely not equal to each other, okay? So a side note on strings, whenever you're checking to see if a string is equal to another string, so if you want to check to see if two strings are equal, you could simply do, if name1 is equal to name2, then you could run some code like print line, y'all have the same name. Wow. So this is actually important to understand if you come from another language like Java, which is similar to Kotlin, it's a sister language. This is something that in Java would not necessarily be something you should be doing. For Java, string is a reference type, so this means that when you're checking to see if they're equals with a double equal sign, you're checking to see if they occupy the same memory location, roughly speaking, not necessarily if the values are equal. So in Java, you do something like name1 dot equals ignore case, and then pass in name2. But with Kotlin, you don't have to worry about that. You can simply directly do name1 is equal to name2, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. So moving on here, if you want to compare two strings to see if one string is less than another string, for example, you can also do that. So you could do something like print line, hello is less than hello. Now, what is the outcome of this going to be? This is not like a number per se, right? So how would you know if hello with a capital H is less than a hello with a lowercase h? Now, the way that this is working, it's using something called an ASCII table, which I'll link below in the description. An ASCII table is just a code that you can have for each character. So pretty much any character that you have on your keyboard or any symbol that you have on your keyboard, anything like that, even symbols that you don't actually see like null or tabbing and enters and new lines and stuff like that, these all have character codes, okay? So these are going to be character codes within decimal, which is our number system. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. And then you have hexadecimal and octal systems, okay? Which is something that we don't have to worry about at all. So we just want to worry about the decimal numbers. So that's just a way of saying the regular numbers that we use every day. So if we just go into this table here and look up H, so capital H, let's see if we can find it. I don't know my alphabet too well. So we have H here. So the character code for H is going to be 72. All right, but then if we look for lowercase h, it has a different character code of 104. So in this case, uppercase h is less than lowercase h. So if we go back to our program, if we did something like print line, and we just compare characters directly, notice I'm using single quotes just because we're comparing a character. So if we do lowercase h is greater than uppercase h, this should definitely be true because as we saw in the ASCII table, lowercase h is 104 and uppercase h is 72. So this is going to be 104 is greater than 72, which is going to be true. So if we run this, we get true. And then for strings where you have multiple characters, it's simply going to add each of them up. So in this case, it's going to be 72 plus whatever these are equal to, just sum them all together. And this one's going to be 104 plus whatever these are equal to. So in this case, even though the following letters are the same, because the first two are different, it's going to have different numbers, different outcomes. So this one is definitely going to be less than this one. So this is going to be true as well. So that's just a basic overview of the ASCII table. It's something important that you should know for computer programming. It's not like super useful to what we're going to be learning, but I think if you're ever working with strings and characters and stuff like that, you should have a basic understanding of what an ASCII table is. One last thing I want to show you is that if you want to see if two arrays have the same values, there's an easy way to do that. You're not going to use the double equal sign. You're going to use a specific method part of the array class. So you can do, let's just say we have two arrays like val array1 is equal to array of 1, 2, 3, and then val array2 is equal to array of 1, 2, 3. So to see if these two arrays are equal, meaning that they have the same exact values for each of the elements, we could do something like print line array1 dot content equals, and then you simply pass the other array that you want to compare it to, so array2. So this should return true because both of them have 3 elements and each of them is 1, 2, 3 in the same order. And there we go, we get true. But if we add another element to the first one, for example, they're no longer going to be the same, so it should be false. And it is false. There we go. And if we also change this one to 4 and then get rid of this one, this should also be false. There we go. Pretty self-explanatory, but I just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to show you guys for the comparison operators. Now you know how to do greater than, less than, and greater than equal to, less than or equal to, equals, and not equals. So these operators are very important to create conditions for our programs, like I said before, and we're going to see how to make these a little more complex in just a minute. But now you guys should know how to use those basic operators for comparison, and also some other little things like how to compare strings, like what's happening behind the scenes is just looking at the ASCII number codes, and then also how to compare arrays just to see if two arrays are equal. That's just something I wanted to throw in for you guys, because it's something you may want to do in the future, okay? In the next episode, we're going to see how to combine our comparison operators along with our Boolean logical operators to create more complex Boolean expressions. So I will see you then. So that's it for this video, everybody. I really hope you learned something new. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to also check the description below for important links to code and other resources, but also really important, join our Discord. We have a big community of over 5,000 programmers, and it's a place where you can find new friends or get help on any code that you're stuck on. If you want to support what I do on this channel, please consider hitting the join button below, and this will allow you to support my channel for as low as $1 a month, but there are different tiers to choose from if you want to. For anyone that becomes a member on my channel, you get a special rank on my Discord server, early access to new videos, and you can just see yourself on the screen right now. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to join. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. I really just appreciate you watching the video anyway. Thank you so much. And that's it. Peace.